This is the turkey and cheese dog treat recipe. They're dog biscuits that you can make at home. And all you need to do is add 1/3 of softened margarine, 1 cup of oats, these are Scottish oats, 1 cup of water, and you're going to need a stock cube. Now, I'm not actually using a stock cube, I'm using one of these Maggi sort of gel stock cubes. And as you can see here, I am using one that's got less salt in it, so I recommend that you do that. If you have a dry one, then you can just smush it up and add it when you add the flour. Because I'm using this, I'm just going to put it in here and I'm going to stir it about till it's all mixed and it's all dissolved together, and that's going to take a couple of minutes. Now that this is all mixed in, we're going to add everything else. I'm going to add it slowly, so we've got 1/2 cup of milk, this is semi-skimmed milk. Here we have about 1 cup of extra mature cheddar. It's got less lactose in it. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of honey. Mine's crystallised a bit, but it doesn't matter, you can still use it. 1 egg already beaten. This is about 1/3 cup of roast turkey that I've cut up into very, very small pieces. And we've got 3½ cups of strong bread flour. This is not self-raising flour. This is plain flour or all-purpose flour that's meant for bread, but you could just use all-purpose or plain flour. And we're going to mix it in a little bit at a time, and you might not need all the flour. You're trying to make a dough that you can roll out, so you don't want it to be really sticky. Now, as you can see, it is getting a bit harder to incorporate the flour now. So I think this might be the last amount of flour that I add. Okay, so I have a clean surface here. I've anti-backed it. I'm just going to put a bit of flour down. Right. This is still sticky, which tells me it doesn't have enough flour. So I'm going to add the rest of that flour now that I had. Okay, so I'm going to roll out my dough. So the first thing I'm going to do is very generously flour the board. That's to stop any initial sticking. I'm going to pat it out with my hands. You want to keep moving it because you really don't want it to stick. This is just the bread flour, and I'm just going to roll this out. It doesn't have to be really, really thin, but I want my cutters to go through it easily. So it's rolled out now, and as you can see, I've got my little shapes, and I'm going to put these onto a lined baking tray. I have cut them all out now. I used my 2 cutters. One of them was this 1.5 inch bone cutter, and this one is a 1 inch heart cutter. So I've cut them. This is a non-stick baking paper on a really heavy duty sheet, so it's not going to sort of warp or anything in the oven. Preheat your oven to about 160 if it's fan, 180 if it's not, that's gas mark 4, and you're going to leave them in for at least 25 minutes or so. And depending on the size of them, it could be anywhere up to 40 minutes. So if you've used a bigger cutter, you'll need to put them in for a bit longer, and you're looking for them to be really hard. So I'm going to pop these in the oven, and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. This is them fresh out of the oven. They are still really, really hot, but you can see that they haven't stuck and they're pretty hard. So I'm going to let these cool, and I'll show you what they look like once I can touch them properly. And I'm sure you can see in the corner there is a small dog who is waiting for these dog biscuits. So I will hurry up. Thank you very much for watching. I'll post some pictures in a bit. Bye!